Minjun Park sat in his black sedan and stared at the building across the street. He had been sitting there for 14 hours. His back hurt. His neck was stiff. His eyes felt dry and tired. This was his job. He was an FBI agent, and today he was watching a warehouse that might be hiding stolen goods. The warehouse looked quiet. Nothing interesting had happened all day. Minjun checked his watch. It was 8:30 in the evening. His stomach growled. He had not eaten since noon. He needed food, but he could not leave. Someone had to watch the warehouse. Minjun picked up his phone and opened a food delivery app. He scrolled through the restaurants near his location. He chose a place called Burger Haven. It was only 2 blocks away. The delivery would be fast. He ordered a double cheeseburger with extra pickles, no onions, and light mayo. He added large fries and a vanilla shake. His mouth watered just thinking about it. The app said his food would arrive in 25 minutes. Minjun went back to watching the warehouse. A car pulled into the parking lot. Minjun lifted his camera and took photos. The driver got out, looked around, and went inside. Minjun wrote notes about the time and the car's license plate. This was his life. Watching and waiting. 35 minutes later, a delivery driver knocked on his car window. Minjun rolled down the window and took the bag. The driver left quickly. Minjun opened the bag and his heart sank. The burger was wrong. He unwrapped it and saw onions covering the patty. He specifically said no onions. The fries were cold and soggy. He reached for his shake and found a chocolate shake instead of vanilla. Minjun closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He had been working for 14 hours. He was tired and hungry. All he wanted was a correct meal. Was that too much to ask? He pulled out his phone and called the restaurant. The phone rang 4 times before someone answered. Burger Haven. This is Derek speaking. The voice sounded bored and annoyed. Hello, I just received a delivery order and everything is wrong, Minjun said calmly. He always stayed calm. It was part of his training. What do you mean wrong? Derek asked. His tone was sharp and unfriendly. I ordered a burger with no onions, but it has onions. The fries are cold. The shake is chocolate instead of vanilla, Minjun explained. Derek sighed loudly into the phone. Look, buddy, I don't know what game you're playing, but we made your order correctly. Maybe you're just trying to get free food. Minjun felt his jaw tighten. I'm not playing any game. I'm telling you what I received. I just want what I ordered. Sure you do, Derek said with a laugh. Everyone always wants free food. We get calls like this every day. Nice try. I'm not lying, Minjun said. His voice was still calm, but he felt frustrated. Can you please remake my order? No, I can't, Derek said. We're busy here. If you have a problem, take it up with the delivery app. I'm not sending you free food because you claim something is wrong. Minjun opened his mouth to respond, but then he heard something in the background. Voices. Someone was talking behind Derek. Minjun's professional instincts kicked in. He had trained himself to listen for unusual details. Hey Derek, the shipment is coming tonight, right? A voice asked in the background. Yeah, 11 o'clock, Derek replied, not bothering to cover the phone. Make sure you're here for counting the packages. How many packages this time? Another voice asked. Carlos said 40. More than last week, Derek answered. Minjun's eyes narrowed. He was not thinking about his wrong food order anymore. He was thinking about those words. Shipment. Packages, counting. Those were not normal words for a fast food restaurant. Derek came back to the phone. Look, I have to go. We're not remaking your order, goodbye. He hung up. Minjun sat in his car holding his phone. He stared at the cold burger in his lap. His mind was working fast. Something felt wrong about that conversation. Fast food restaurants did not talk about shipments and counting packages. They talked about burgers and fries and customer orders. He put the burger aside and opened his laptop. He typed in the address for Burger Haven. He pulled up the business records. It was a legitimate restaurant open for 3 years. The owner was listed as Carlos Vega. Minjun wrote down the name. Then he did something else. He checked his surveillance system. His car was equipped with recording equipment because he was watching the warehouse. His equipment had a wide range. It picked up phone signals in the area. Minjun scrolled through the recordings. He found his phone call to Burger Haven. The system had recorded it automatically. Minjun played the recording. He listened to the background voices again. The shipment is coming tonight. Counting the packages. Carlos said 40. Min-jun leaned back in his seat. He thought about the timing. Derek had said 11 o'clock. He thought about the number. 40 packages. He thought about the name. Carlos, who was apparently giving orders about packages. Min-jun had worked for the FBI for 8 years. He had investigated many cases. He knew when something sounded suspicious. This sounded suspicious. He opened a secure database on his laptop. He searched for Carlos Vega. Several results came up, but one caught his attention. Carlos Vega, age 42, owner of multiple restaurant franchises in the Seattle area. No criminal record, but his name had appeared in a DEA investigation report 6 months ago. The report mentioned possible money laundering through restaurant businesses. Min-jun felt his pulse quicken. This was interesting. Very interesting. He looked at the cold burger in his lap. He looked at the wrong shake. He looked at his computer screen showing information about Carlos Vega. A smile slowly spread across his face. He had called to complain about a wrong food order. Instead, he might have accidentally discovered a criminal operation. The universe worked in strange ways. Min-jun picked up his phone and called his supervisor, Agent Sarah Chen. She answered after 2 rings. "Sarah, it's Min-jun. I think I found something," he said. "What do you mean? Are you still watching The Warehouse?" Sarah asked. "Yes, but this is different. I ordered food from a place called Burger Haven. The order was wrong, so I called to complain. While I was on the phone, I overheard the manager talking about a shipment coming tonight at 11 and counting 40 packages. Sarah was quiet for a moment. "That does sound odd. Did you get a recording?" "Yes, my surveillance equipment picked it up. I also checked the owner's name. Carlos Vega. He came up in a DEA report about possible money laundering through restaurants." "Send me everything you have," Sarah said. Min-jun could hear the interest in her voice. "I'll check with the DEA. This might be worth looking into." "Should I go there tonight?" Min-jun asked. "They mentioned 11 o'clock. "No, stay on your current assignment. Let me make some calls first. If this is real, we need to do it properly. We'll talk tomorrow morning." Min-jun agreed and ended the call. He looked at his wrong order one more time. Derek had been rude to him. Derek had accused him of lying. Derek had refused to help him. Derek had also been careless. He had talked about illegal business while on the phone with a customer. He had no idea that customer was an FBI agent with recording equipment. Min-jun picked up a cold French fry and ate it. It tasted terrible, but somehow he did not mind anymore. He was thinking about something else. He was thinking about how Derek would feel when he found out the truth. Min-jun had wanted a perfect burger order. Now he wanted something more. He wanted to investigate Burger Haven. He wanted to find out what those packages were. He wanted to build a case. And when it was all over, when they made the arrests, Min-jun had one simple goal. He wanted to walk into that restaurant and make himself the perfect burger. The exact burger he had ordered tonight. He would make it right in front of Derek. It was petty. It was small. But after 14 hours of surveillance and a terrible food order, Min-jun deserved a little revenge. Professional revenge. Legal revenge. The best kind of revenge. He smiled and took another bite of the cold, wrong burger. Tomorrow he would start building his case. Tonight he would finish his surveillance and dream about the perfect burger he would make someday soon. The warehouse across the street stayed quiet. The night grew darker. Min-jun stayed alert and ready. His job never stopped. But now he had something new to look forward to. Something that started with terrible customer service and might end with handcuffs and justice. Sometimes life surprised you. Sometimes a wrong order became the right opportunity. Min-jun walked into the FBI office at 7 in the morning. He had not slept much. His mind kept thinking about the phone call from Burger Haven. He carried his laptop and a folder with printed documents. He went straight to Sarah Chen's office. Sarah was already at her desk drinking coffee and reading reports. She looked up when Min-jun knocked on her door. "Come in," she said. "Tell me about this burger place." Min-jun sat down and opened his laptop. "I called Burger Haven last night because my food order was wrong. The manager, Derek, was rude and refused to help. While we were talking, I heard people in the background discussing a shipment coming at 11 o'clock and counting 40 packages." Sarah leaned forward. "And you recorded this?" "Yes, my car surveillance system picked up the call automatically. I also researched the owner, Carlos Vega. His name appeared in a DEA report 6 months ago about possible money laundering through restaurant businesses. Min Jun played the recording. Sarah listened carefully to the background voices. When it finished, she sat back and crossed her arms. "It's interesting, but it's not enough for a warrant," Sarah said. "It could be legitimate restaurant supplies. Maybe they're counting boxes of frozen food." "At 11 at night?" Min Jun asked. And the way they talked about it sounded secretive. Plus, Carlos Vega owns 4 different restaurant locations in the area, all fast food places, all with high employee turnover. "What are you suggesting?" Sarah asked. "Give me 72 hours to investigate. If I find nothing, we drop it. But if I find something real, we open a full case." Sarah thought about this. She looked at her computer screen, then back at Min Jun. "You really want to pursue a lead that came from a wrong food order?" "The best leads come from unexpected places," Min Jun said. "And yes, maybe I also want to prove that Derek should have been nicer to his customers." Sarah laughed. "Fine, 72 hours. But you're not doing this alone. I'll contact the DEA and see if they have anyone who can help you. This might connect to their investigation." 2 hours later, Min Jun met Agent Jiwoo Kim from the DEA task force. They met in a conference room with coffee and files spread across the table. "Sarah told me about your phone call," Jiwoo said. She was younger than Min Jun, maybe 30 years old, with sharp eyes and a serious expression. "We've been watching several restaurant businesses for 6 months. We think someone is using them to move money, but we haven't found proof yet." "Tell me about Carlos Vega," Min Jun said. Jiwoo opened a file. "Carlos Vega, 42 years old. He owns franchise locations for 4 different fast food chains, 3 Burger Havens, 2 Chicken Express locations, and 2 Taco Stop restaurants, all in the Seattle area. On paper, everything looks normal. The restaurants make money. They pay taxes. But something doesn't add up." "What do you mean?" Min Jun asked. "The restaurants process a lot of cash, more cash than similar locations in the same areas. We checked sales records and customer traffic. The numbers don't match. They're claiming more cash sales than they should have based on actual customer counts." Min Jun nodded slowly. "So they're mixing illegal money with legal business money. Classic money laundering." "That's our theory," Jiwoo said. "But we need proof. We need to see the actual operation. We need to know where the illegal money comes from." "What if it's not just money laundering?" Min Jun said. "What if they're also moving drugs? That would explain the talk about shipments and packages." Jiwoo's eyes widened. "That would make more sense. Use the restaurants as distribution points. Drugs come in with regular food supplies. They store them temporarily. Then local dealers pick them up. The restaurants already have refrigerated trucks making deliveries," Min Jun added. "They have freezers for storage. They have employees working late nights. It's perfect cover." For the next 2 days, Min Jun and Jiwoo conducted surveillance on Burger Haven. They parked in different locations around the restaurant. They watched and took photos. They documented everyone who went in and out. On Tuesday night, they saw nothing unusual. The restaurant closed at 10. Employees left by 10:30. The building stayed dark and quiet. But Wednesday was different. At 9:30, a man arrived in a silver SUV. Jiwoo checked the license plate. The vehicle was registered to Carlos Vega. The man went inside and talked with the manager, Derek. Through the windows, they could see Derek nodding and writing things down. "That's Carlos," Jiwoo said, taking photos. "He's the owner." At 10 o'clock, the restaurant closed. Regular customers left. Most employees went home. But Derek stayed. So did 2 other employees, a cook and a cashier. Carlos's silver SUV stayed in the parking lot. At 10:45, a large refrigerated truck pulled up behind the restaurant. The truck had a logo for Fresh Foods Distribution Company. It looked completely normal. The kind of truck that delivered food to restaurants every day. Min Jun and Jiwoo watched carefully. The truck driver got out and opened the back doors. Derek, the cook, and the cashier came out of the restaurant. They started unloading boxes. The boxes were white and had labels that said frozen chicken products. "That could be legitimate," Jiwoo said. "Maybe," Min Jun said. "But look how they're handling the boxes. They're being very careful. Food delivery workers usually move faster. They're treating those boxes like something valuable." They watched the group carry 20 boxes into the restaurant. The truck driver closed his doors and drove away. Carlos came out to help move the last few boxes. Then everyone went back inside. "Should we try to get closer?" Jiwoo asked. "Not yet," Min Jun said. "We don't have a warrant. If they catch us snooping, we lose any chance of building a real case. Let's keep watching. At 11:30, 3 different cars arrived at the restaurant. Each car was driven by a different person. Each person went inside, stayed for about 10 minutes, then came out carrying a cardboard box. The boxes looked like the same boxes that came off the truck. "They're distributing," Jiwoo whispered. "Those are local dealers picking up product." Minjun took photos of each car and license plate. "We need to run these plates. See who these people are." By 1 in the morning, the activity stopped. Carlos left in his SUV. Derek and the 2 employees locked up the restaurant and went home. The building went dark. Minjun and Jiwoo sat in silence for a moment. "This is real," Jiwoo finally said. "This is an actual operation." "Yes, it is," Minjun agreed. "And it's bigger than just one restaurant. If Carlos owns 7 locations, he might be using all of them the same way. They spent Thursday morning running background checks. The license plates from the 3 cars belonged to people with criminal records. One had been arrested for drug possession twice. Another had served time for distribution. The third was currently on probation. Minjun and Jiwoo presented everything to Sarah. They showed her the surveillance photos, the license plate records, and the background checks. Sarah studied the information carefully. "This is good work, but we still need more before we can get warrants. We need to know what's actually in those boxes. We need to identify everyone involved in the network. We need to understand how the whole operation works." "I have an idea," Minjun said. "Let me go undercover. I'll apply for a job at Burger Haven. I can work there and observe from the inside." "That's risky," Sarah said. "If they figure out who you are, it could get dangerous." "I'll be careful," Minjun said. "And besides, Derek has already shown he doesn't pay attention to details. He was careless on the phone. He'll be careless hiring employees." Jiwoo nodded. "I can coordinate outside surveillance while Minjun works inside. Between the 2 of us, we'll get everything we need." Sarah considered this for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Okay, but I want daily reports. And if anything feels wrong, you pull out immediately." "Understood?" "Understood," Minjun said. "One more thing," Sarah added with a slight smile. "What are you going to call this operation?" Minjun thought about his terrible food order. He thought about Derek's rude attitude. He thought about the perfect burger he still wanted to make. "Operation Special Order," he said. Jiwoo laughed. "You're really not over that wrong order, are you?" "Would you be?" Minjun asked. "I was hungry, tired, and the manager accused me of lying. Now I'm going to work at his restaurant, gather evidence of his crimes, and eventually arrest him. Call it petty if you want. I call it justice." "With a side of fries?" Jiwoo joked. "With a side of fries," Minjun agreed. That afternoon, Minjun prepared his cover identity. He became MJ Park, a college dropout who needed work. Jiwoo helped create fake references and a basic work history, nothing too detailed, just enough to get hired at a fast food restaurant. Minjun studied the menu at Burger Haven. He learned about all the different burgers, the toppings, the sides, the drinks. He found it funny that he was now becoming an expert on the exact food that had started this whole investigation. "The irony is not lost on me," he told Jiwoo. "I complained about a wrong order. Now I'm learning how to make the right order. When this is over, you'll make the best burgers in the FBI," Jiwoo said. On Friday morning, Minjun walked into Burger Haven and asked to speak with the manager. Derek came out from the back, looking annoyed as usual. He barely glanced at Minjun. "Can I help you?" Derek asked in a bored voice. "I'm looking for a job," Minjun said. "Are you hiring?" Derek looked at Minjun like he was evaluating a product. "Have you worked in fast food before?" "A little, a few years ago," Minjun lied smoothly. "I need work." "I can start immediately," Derek shrugged. "We're always short on people. Everyone quits after a few weeks." "Can you work nights and weekends?" "Yes," Minjun said. "Fine, fill out this application. If your references check out, you can start Monday." Minjun took the application and sat at a table. He filled it out carefully using his cover identity. When he returned it to Derek, the manager barely looked at it before tossing it on his desk. "I'll call you over the weekend," Derek said and walked away. Minjun left the restaurant and got into his car where Jiwoo was waiting. "Well?" Jiwoo asked. "He barely looked at me," Minjun said. "He's going to hire me." "I can tell." "Good," Jiwoo said. "Then next week we start the real investigation." Minjun looked back at the restaurant. Somewhere inside that building, criminals were running an operation. They thought they were safe. They thought no one was watching. They had no idea that a wrong food order had started their downfall. They had no idea that an FBI agent was about to become their newest employee. They had no idea that their careless manager had set everything in motion with one rude phone call. Min-jun smiled. Next week he would learn how to make burgers. He would work alongside criminals. He would gather evidence. And eventually he would get his revenge in the most professional way possible. Derek called Min-jun on Saturday afternoon. The call lasted 30 seconds. Derek said the references checked out and asked if MJ could start Monday morning at 6. Min-jun said yes. Derek hung up without saying goodbye. Jiwoo had created the fake references. She had set up phone numbers that went to other FBI agents who pretended to be previous managers. The system worked perfectly. Derek never suspected anything. Monday morning arrived cold and gray. Min-jun put on jeans and a plain black shirt. He looked at himself in the mirror. He had been an FBI agent for 8 years. He had done surveillance, interrogations, and arrests, but he had never worked in a fast food restaurant. This would be interesting. He arrived at Burger Haven at 5:55. Derek was already there, looking tired and annoyed. 2 other employees stood near the counter, a teenager named Louise and a woman in her 30s named Rachel. "You're MJ, right?" Derek asked without any warmth in his voice. "Yes," Min-jun said. "Okay, Louise will train you today. Follow him and do what he says. Don't mess up orders. Don't be slow. And don't ask stupid questions, got it?" "Got it," Min-jun said. Derek walked away. Louise looked at Min-jun and smiled apologetically. "Don't worry about Derek, he's always like that. Mean to everyone." "Good to know," Min-jun said. Louise was 17 years old and had worked at Burger Haven for 6 months. He showed Min-jun where to store his belongings, how to clock in and where to wash his hands. Then the real training started. "The most important thing is speed," Louise explained. "When orders come in, you have to move fast. People get angry if they wait too long." Min-jun nodded and tried to pay attention, but it was harder than he expected. The kitchen was hot and loud. The grill sizzled constantly. The fryer beeped. Orders printed out on little tickets. Everything happened at once. His first task was making fries. Louise showed him how to fill the baskets, lower them into the hot oil, and set the timer. It seemed simple. But when Min-jun tried it himself, he filled the basket too full. The fries came out stuck together and burnt on the edges. "Not like that," Louise said patiently. "Less fries in each basket. They need space to cook evenly." Min-jun tried again. This time the fries were better but still not perfect. He felt frustrated. He had trained for years to be an FBI agent. He could handle guns, follow suspects, and analyze complex cases. But making perfect fries was surprisingly difficult. Rachel worked the register. She was a single mother with 2 kids. She had been at Burger Haven for 2 years. During a quiet moment, she came to check on Min-jun. "How are you doing?" she asked kindly. "Learning," Min-jun said. "It's harder than I thought." "Everyone struggles at first," Rachel said. "You'll get faster. Just stay calm and don't let Derek bother you. He likes to yell, but we all ignore him." "Does he yell a lot?" Min-jun asked. "Every single day," Rachel said with a tired smile. "But the job pays okay and I need the money for my kids. So I deal with it." By noon, Min-jun had burned fries twice, made 3 wrong burgers, and dropped a tray of cups. Derek yelled at him each time. Min-jun stayed calm and apologized. He had to maintain his cover. MJ Park was a regular employee who needed this job. He could not act like an FBI agent. During his lunch break, Min-jun sat in his car and called Jiwoo. "How's it going?" she asked. "I'm terrible at this job," Min-jun admitted. "I've messed up so many orders. The irony is killing me. I complained about getting a wrong order, and now I'm the one making wrong orders." Jiwoo laughed. "Just keep trying. You're there to observe, not to become Employee of the Month." "I know," Min-jun said, "but I still feel bad. These are real customers. They're hungry and waiting for food." "You're a good person," Jiwoo said. "Now get back in there and try not to burn anything else." The afternoon shift was slightly better. Min-jun started to understand the rhythm of the kitchen. He learned which burgers were ordered most often. He figured out how to coordinate multiple tasks at once. He still made mistakes, but fewer than in the morning. He also started observing the restaurant more carefully. He noticed that Derek kept a tablet in the back office. He saw that certain employees worked longer hours than others. He watched how the cook named Marcus handled the freezer. always locking it carefully after taking anything out. At 8 o'clock, Minjun's first shift ended. His feet hurt. His back was sore. He smelled like grease and fried food. But he had made it through the first day. Luis walked out with him. "You did okay for your first day. Tomorrow will be easier." "Thanks for helping me," Minjun said. "No problem," Luis said.
We all help each other here, we have to.
Derek sure doesn't help anyone. Over the next week, Minjun slowly improved. He learned to make burgers without burning them. He mastered the fries. He got faster at assembling orders. Derek still yelled at him regularly, but Minjun noticed Derek yelled at everyone. It was just his personality. Minjun also continued observing. He saw Carlos Vega visit the restaurant twice that week. Each time, Carlos came in the afternoon, talked privately with Derek in the back office, and left after 30 minutes. Carlos always carried a tablet computer and looked at numbers on the screen. On Wednesday afternoon, Minjun saw something interesting. A refrigerated truck pulled up behind the restaurant. It was the same truck Jiwoo had photographed the previous week. The same company logo. The driver came in through the back door and talked with Marcus, the cook. "Food delivery?" Minjun asked casually. Marcus looked at him. "Yeah, we get deliveries twice a week. Keeps the freezer stocked." "Do we need to help unload?" Minjun asked. "No, I handle deliveries," Marcus said quickly. "You just focus on cooking." Minjun noticed how protective Marcus was about the deliveries. That was suspicious. In most restaurants, any employee could help unload supplies. But Marcus acted like it was his private responsibility. That evening, Minjun reported everything to Jiwoo. They met in a parking lot far from the restaurant. "Marcus is definitely involved," Jiwoo said, "and Derek and Carlos too. But we need to see what happens on Wednesday nights. That's when the real operation happens." "I work day shifts," Minjun said. "I need to get scheduled for Wednesday nights. Can you request it?" Jiwoo asked. "I can try," Minjun said, "but I have to be careful. I can't seem too eager. That would be suspicious." 2 days later, Minjun saw his opportunity. Rachel came to work looking upset. Her eyes were red like she had been crying. "Are you okay?" Minjun asked during a quiet moment. "My son is sick," Rachel said. "I need to take him to the doctor Wednesday evening, but I'm scheduled to work. Derek won't let me switch shifts. He says if I miss work, he'll fire me." Minjun felt angry. Rachel was a good person and a hard worker. She deserved better treatment. But he also saw his chance. "I can work Wednesday night for you," Minjun offered. "If Derek agrees." Rachel looked at him hopefully. "Really? You would do that?" "Sure," Minjun said. "I need the hours anyway." Rachel hugged him. "Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver." Minjun went to find Derek. The manager was in the back office staring at his phone. "Derek, Rachel needs Wednesday night off. Her son is sick. I can cover her shift if that works." Derek looked up annoyed. Why should I care about her son? Minjun bit back his real response. Instead, he said calmly, "Because if you fire her, you'll need to hire and train someone new. That takes time. I'm already trained. I can work her shift. Problem solved." Derek thought about this. "Fine, you work Wednesday night 8 to close. Don't be late." "I won't be," Minjun said. He walked away before Derek could see his smile. He had done 2 good things at once. He had helped Rachel and he had gotten himself scheduled for Wednesday night. When Minjun told Jiwoo, she was impressed. "That was smart. Now you'll see what really happens after hours." "I feel bad using Rachel's situation," Minjun said. "You helped her," Jiwoo pointed out. "Her son gets to see a doctor and she keeps her job. That's a good thing. You're doing good things while also doing your job." Minjun nodded. "I just hope she's not involved in the illegal operation." "From what you've told me, it sounds like only Derek, Marcus, and 1 or 2 others know what's really going on," Jiwoo said. "The other employees are probably innocent. They just think they work at a normal restaurant." Wednesday arrived. Minjun came to work at 8 in the evening. Rachel thanked him again before leaving. Luis was also working that night, along with Marcus and another employee named Tony who worked the register. The evening started normally. Customers came and went. Orders were made. Everything seemed routine. But Minjun noticed something. Derek kept checking his watch. Marcus seemed nervous. Tony kept looking at the clock. At 9:30, Derek gathered everyone together. "Okay, listen up. Luis and MJ, you can go home early tonight. We're closing at 10 for inventory. Marcus and Tony are staying to help me count stock. Luis looked happy. Really? We get to leave early? Yes, now go before I change my mind, Derek said. Luis grabbed his things and left quickly. But Minjun stayed near the back, pretending to organize his locker slowly. He wanted to see what happened next. MJ, did you hear me? You can go, Derek said, walking over to him. Oh, sorry, I was just cleaning up, Minjun said. Do you need help with inventory? I don't mind staying. Derek's eyes narrowed. For a moment, Minjun worried he had pushed too hard. But then Derek's expression changed. He looked at Minjun thoughtfully. You want extra hours? Derek asked. I could use the money, Minjun said. This was true for his cover story. MJ Park was supposed to be broke and desperate for work. How much do you need money? Derek asked carefully. Enough that I'd work late nights if the pay is good, Minjun said. Derek studied him for a long moment. Minjun could almost see the calculation happening in Derek's mind. Derek was deciding if MJ could be trusted, or if MJ could be useful. Finally, Derek spoke. Okay, you can stay. But inventory nights pay different. I'll explain later. For now, just help Marcus in the kitchen. Do what he tells you. And MJ, don't ask questions. Just work, understand? I understand, Minjun said. Derek walked away. Minjun felt his heartbeat quicken. He was in. He was going to see the Wednesday night operation. He touched his shirt where a small recording device was hidden under the fabric. The device was small enough that it looked like a button. It would record everything. He pulled out his phone and sent a quick text to Jiwoo. Just 2 words. I'm in. In a car 2 blocks away, Jiwoo read the message and smiled. She checked her surveillance equipment. Cameras were pointed at the restaurant. Recording devices were ready. Other agents were on standby in case anything went wrong. Inside Burger Haven, Minjun went to help Marcus. The cook looked at him suspiciously. Derek said you're staying for inventory, Marcus asked. Yeah, I need the money, Minjun said. Then keep your mouth shut and do what you're told, Marcus said. Tonight is going to be interesting. Minjun nodded. He had no idea how interesting it was about to become. At 10 o'clock, Derek locked the front door of Burger Haven. The last customer had left 15 minutes earlier. The restaurant was quiet except for the hum of refrigerators and the buzz of fluorescent lights. Minjun helped Marcus clean the kitchen while Tony counted the cash register. Derek disappeared into his office for several minutes. When he came back out, his whole attitude had changed. He seemed nervous but also excited. He kept checking his phone. Carlos is on his way, Derek announced to Marcus and Tony. The truck should be here by 11. Marcus nodded. Tony looked at Minjun with uncertainty. Is he okay? Tony asked Derek, pointing at Minjun. He needs money and he knows how to keep his mouth shut, Derek said. Then he turned to Minjun directly. Right, MJ? You can keep secrets? I'm good at keeping secrets, Minjun said. His hidden recording device captured every word. Good, because what happens tonight stays between us, Derek said. You're going to see things. You're going to help with things. And you're never going to talk about it. Not to other employees. Not to friends. Not to anyone. Because if you do, very bad things will happen. Understand? Minjun nodded seriously. I understand. I just want to make money. That's what I like to hear, Derek said with a smile that did not reach his eyes. You help us tonight and I'll pay you $200 cash. Every Wednesday you work these special inventory nights, another $200. Sound good? $200 for one night was a lot of money for a fast food worker. It was the kind of money that bought silence and loyalty. Sounds very good, Minjun said. Then welcome to the team, Derek said. At 10:45, a silver SUV pulled into the parking lot. Minjun recognized it from surveillance photos. Carlos Vega had arrived. He came in through the back door carrying a tablet computer and a serious expression. Carlos was a tall man in his 40s with dark hair and expensive clothes. He looked like a successful businessman, not a criminal. That was probably the point, Derek, Carlos said with a nod. Then he looked at Marcus and Tony. Good evening. His eyes landed on Minjun. Who is this? New guy, MJ, Derek explained quickly. He's been working here for 2 weeks. Good worker. Needs money. I thought we could use an extra pair of hands tonight. Carlos studied Minjun carefully. His eyes were sharp and calculating. Minjun kept his expression neutral and slightly nervous, like a regular person meeting his boss's boss. You trust him? Carlos asked Derek. Yeah, I think so, Derek said. You think so or you know so? Carlos pressed. Derek hesitated. Minjun realized he needed to speak up. If he stayed silent, Carlos might send him away. Sir, I don't know what happens here on Wednesday nights, Minjun said carefully, but I can promise you that I need this job and I need money. I'm not going to cause problems. I'm not going to talk. I just want to work and get paid. Carlos continued staring at him. The moment stretched uncomfortably long. Minjun could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. Finally, Carlos spoke. What's your last name, MJ? Park, Minjun said. Korean? Carlos asked. Yes, sir. Do you have family in Seattle? No, sir. I'm on my own. This was part of Minjun's cover story. MJ Park was supposed to be alone with no close connections. That made him less likely to talk to anyone about what he saw. Carlos seemed satisfied. Okay, you can stay. But MJ, let me be very clear. The work we do here is private business. Very private. If you ever talk about it to anyone, we will find out, and there will be serious consequences. Do you understand what I'm saying? I understand, Minjun said. He did understand. Carlos was threatening him. This was how criminal organizations worked. They used fear to control people. Good, Carlos said. He turned to Derek. Let's get ready. The truck will be here in 10 minutes. Derek, Marcus, and Tony immediately started moving. They cleared a path from the back door to the walk-in freezer. They set up a folding table near the freezer entrance. Marcus unlocked the freezer and adjusted the temperature controls. Minjun watched and helped where he could, memorizing every detail. At exactly 11 o'clock, a large refrigerated truck pulled up to the back door. The truck had a logo that said, Fresh Foods Distribution Company. It looked completely legitimate. The driver got out and knocked on the back door. Marcus let him in. The driver was a middle-aged man with a tired face and a clipboard. He nodded at Carlos. Evening, boss, the driver said. Got 40 packages tonight. Clean delivery, no problems? Let's get them unloaded, Carlos said. Everyone moved outside to the truck. The driver opened the back doors. Inside were dozens of white cardboard boxes stacked on pallets. Each box was labeled frozen chicken products, handle with care. The boxes looked like normal restaurant supply boxes, but the way everyone handled them was not normal. They moved carefully, almost gently. These were not boxes of frozen chicken. Minjun knew it. Everyone there knew it. MJ, you're going to help carry boxes, Derek told him. Lift from the bottom. Don't drop them. Don't shake them. Just carry them straight to the freezer. Got it? Got it, Minjun said. For the next 30 minutes, they unloaded boxes. Minjun carried them one at a time from the truck into the restaurant and into the walk-in freezer. The boxes were cold and heavier than he expected. Each one weighed about 30 pounds. Inside the freezer, Marcus had cleared a special section separated by plastic curtains. This section had its own temperature controls set much colder than the rest of the freezer. The boxes went into this special area, stacked neatly in rows. Minjun's FBI training kicked in. He memorized everything. The number of boxes, the labels, the serial numbers printed on each box, the way they were stacked, the temperature settings. Every detail mattered. After all 40 boxes were inside, Carlos did something revealing. He took a small knife and opened one box. Inside were vacuum-sealed packages wrapped in silver plastic. Each package was about the size of a brick and frozen solid. Carlos removed one package and held it up. This is what we're moving, MJ. Do you know what this is? Minjun looked at the package. He knew exactly what it was. Cocaine frozen and vacuum-sealed to avoid drug dog detection. But MJ Park was not supposed to know that. I don't know, Minjun said carefully. Good answer, Carlos said with a slight smile. Here's what you need to know. These packages are valuable. Very valuable. We store them here for a short time. Then other people come to pick them up. Your job is simple. Help move them. Don't ask questions. Don't tell anyone. Get paid. That's it. How many of these shipments happen? Minjun asked. He needed to get Carlos talking, to get information on the recording device. That's a question, Carlos said. His voice had an edge. Sorry, Minjun said quickly. I'm just trying to understand what to expect. Carlos considered this. Every Wednesday, same time, same process. We move product through 12 locations across 3 states. This is one of our smaller operations. You're seeing maybe 5% of what we do. Minjun's heart raced. 12 locations. 3 states. This was bigger than they thought. This was not just a local operation. This was a large-scale drug distribution network. That's impressive, Min-jun said, playing his role as an impressed new recruit. It's good business, Carlos said. We use legitimate operations to cover our real business. The restaurants make money. The distribution makes more money. Everyone wins. Except the cops, Tony joked. The cops don't know anything, Carlos said confidently. We're careful. We use legitimate delivery trucks. We mix our cash with restaurant income. We pay our taxes. On paper, everything looks normal. The police see restaurant owners making money. They don't look deeper, Derek chuckled. They're too busy chasing obvious criminals. They don't suspect business owners, Carlos nodded. Exactly. This is why we're successful. We don't act like criminals. We act like businessmen. Min-jun filed away every word. His recording device captured Carlos's confession. This was gold for the investigation. Who do we distribute to? Min-jun asked, pushing his luck slightly. Carlos looked at him sharply. You ask a lot of questions for someone who just started. Sorry, Min-jun said. I'm just curious how it all works. Curiosity can be dangerous, Carlos warned. But I'll tell you this much. We have partners in every major city on the West Coast. They pick up product from us and handle local distribution. We don't deal with street-level dealers. We're wholesale. We move large quantities to reliable partners. And they come here to pick up? Min-jun asked. Some of them, yes. Tonight, 3 of our partners will arrive between midnight and 2 in the morning. They'll each take packages. Marcus handles the exchanges. Derek keeps records. Tony watches the money. What do I do? Min-jun asked. Tonight you watch and learn, Carlos said. If you do well, you'll become part of the regular Wednesday crew. The pay is good. $200 per night now. Maybe more later if you prove yourself. At midnight, the first customer arrived. It was not a restaurant customer. It was a man in a black jacket driving an expensive car. He came to the back door and Marcus let him in. The man handed Marcus an envelope. Marcus counted the cash inside, then nodded to Derek. Derek checked something on a clipboard. 12 packages, he said. Marcus went into the freezer and came back with 12 packages. He put them in a cardboard box. The man in the black jacket carried the box out to his car and drove away. The whole exchange took less than 5 minutes. That's $60,000, Carlos explained to Min-jun. $5,000 per package, wholesale price. Our partner will break those packages down and sell them retail for triple that amount. Min-jun did the math in his head. If each package contained 1 kilogram of cocaine, and they moved 40 packages per week through just this one location, that was over $10 million per month. Multiply that by 12 locations, and this was a massive operation. 2 more customers came between midnight and 1:30. Each one followed the same pattern. Cash in an envelope. Derek checking his list. Marcus retrieving packages. Everyone left quickly and quietly. By 2 in the morning, the activity ended. Carlos counted the envelopes of cash and smiled. Good night, he said. Same time next week. Carlos left in a silver SUV. The driver of the refrigerated truck had left hours ago. Now it was just Derek, Marcus, Tony, and Min-jun cleaning up. Derek pulled out $400 in cash and handed half to Tony and half to Marcus. Then he gave Min-jun $200. You did good tonight, MJ, Derek said. You didn't panic. You didn't ask too many stupid questions. You can join us next Wednesday if you want. I want to, Min-jun said. I could use this money every week. Then you're on the team, Derek said. Remember, not a word to anyone. Not to Luis, not to Rachel. Not to any other employee. This is between us and Carlos. I won't say anything, Min-jun promised. They finished cleaning at 3 in the morning. Min-jun drove away from Burger Haven with $200 in cash and a recording that would destroy the entire operation. He called Jiwoo from his car. Did you get everything? She asked immediately. Everything, Min-jun said. 40 packages of cocaine, 12 locations across 3 states, 3 local distributors. Carlos confessed to the entire operation on camera. I recorded all of it. That's incredible, Jiwoo said. This is enough for warrants. This is enough to take them all down. There's more, Min-jun said. I'm on the Wednesday crew now. I can keep gathering evidence. We can identify more people involved. How much longer can you maintain your cover? Jiwoo asked. A few more weeks, maybe. Then we'll have everything we need. Min-jun drove home as the sun began to rise. He had spent the night working with criminals, pretending to be one of them, all while recording evidence that would put them in prison for decades. He thought about Derek's face when the truth would be revealed. He thought about how the man who had been so rude about a wrong food order would soon face federal charges. Sometimes justice took patience. Sometimes it took careful planning. And sometimes it started with a cold burger and a manager who should have been nicer to his customers. 3 weeks passed. Min Jun worked at Burger Haven like a regular employee during the day and like an undercover agent on Wednesday nights. Each week brought more evidence. Each Wednesday revealed more details about the criminal operation. Min Jun learned that Carlos had a boss named Chen Wei, who operated from Vancouver. He learned the names of 15 different distributors across Washington, Oregon, and California. He documented every shipment, every exchange, every conversation. His recording device captured everything. During regular day shifts, Min Jun had also become genuinely good at his job. He could make a perfect burger now. He knew exactly how long to cook the fries. He could assemble orders quickly without mistakes. The irony still made him smile. He had complained about a wrong order, and now he was an expert at making right orders. Luis noticed the improvement. "You're really good now, MJ. When you started, you couldn't make a burger to save your life." "Practice," Min Jun said. "And good teachers." This was true. Luis and Rachel had taught him well during those first difficult weeks. Rachel was working near them, cleaning tables. She smiled when she heard this. "You're too kind, MJ, but honestly, you've been great. You covered my shift when my son was sick. You help everyone. You never complain. You're the best person Derek has hired in years." Min Jun felt genuinely bad. These people had become his friends. Rachel told him about her kids. Luis talked about his plans to go to college. They trusted him. They liked him. But MJ Park was not real. Soon Min Jun would disappear and they would learn the truth. "You okay?" Rachel asked, noticing his expression. "Just tired," Min Jun said. "Late nights are catching up with me." "Those inventory nights must be exhausting," Rachel said. "Derek only picks certain people for those shifts. I've been here 2 years and he's never asked me." "Maybe that's a good thing," Min Jun said carefully. Rachel laughed. "Maybe you're right. Extra money would be nice, but Derek's company during late nights? No thank you." That Wednesday was different from previous weeks. When Min Jun arrived for his evening shift, Derek seemed nervous. More nervous than usual. He kept checking his phone and looking at the clock. At 9:30, Derek gathered Marcus, Tony, and Min Jun together. Carlos called. Derek said quietly, "Tonight is special. We're getting the biggest shipment we've ever received. 80 packages instead of 40. Chen Wei himself might come to check on the delivery." Marcus whistled. 80? That's huge." "That's also huge money," Tony added. "And huge risk if anything goes wrong," Derek said. "So everyone needs to be extra careful tonight. No mistakes. No accidents. Everything perfect." Min Jun felt his pulse quicken. This was the opportunity they needed. A massive shipment and possibly Chen Wei attending. If they could document everything and get Chen Wei on camera, the case would be perfect. He excused himself to use the bathroom and sent a quick coded text to Jiwoo. "Tonight is big. 80 packages. Main boss might attend." Jiwoo responded immediately. "Ready. Extra surveillance in place. Stay safe." At 10 o'clock, they closed the restaurant and sent the regular employees home. Luis left happily. Rachel waved goodbye to everyone. The restaurant became quiet. Min Jun did something he had been planning for weeks. Before the shipment arrived, he went into the kitchen and began making food. Derek noticed and walked over. "What are you doing?" Derek asked. "I'm hungry," Min Jun said. "I want to make dinner before the truck gets here. Is that okay?" Derek shrugged. "Make it fast. We have work soon." Min Jun prepared his meal with careful attention. He made a double cheeseburger with extra pickles, no onions, and light mayo. He cooked the patty perfectly. He toasted the bun just right. He added crisp lettuce and fresh tomatoes. Then he made large fries, golden and perfectly salted. Finally, he prepared a thick vanilla shake. It was the exact order he had tried to get delivered 4 weeks ago. The order that started everything. Now he was making it himself perfectly, in the kitchen of the restaurant that had gotten it wrong. Marcus walked by and saw the food. "That looks really good. You've gotten good at making burgers." "Thanks," Min Jun said. "I learned from watching you guys." He took a photo of the perfect meal with his phone. He sent it to Jiwoo with a message. "Objective achieved. Ready when you are." At 10:45, 2 vehicles arrived. The refrigerated truck pulled up as usual. But behind it came a black luxury sedan with tinted windows. Carlos got out of the sedan. Then another man emerged. Chen Wei was in his 50s, wearing an expensive suit and glasses. He looked like a successful businessman, not the head of a drug trafficking network. But Minjun recognized him from FBI files. This was the man they had been trying to catch for 3 years. "This is Mr. Chen," Carlos introduced him to everyone. "He's here to oversee tonight's delivery personally." Chen Wei looked at each person carefully. When his eyes reached Minjun, he paused. "I don't recognize you," Chen Wei said. His English was perfect with just a slight accent. "This is MJ, our newest team member," Carlos explained. "He's been working Wednesday nights for 3 weeks. Very reliable." Very quiet, Chen Wei studied Minjun. "You're young. Why do you want to work in this business?" Minjun had prepared for this question. "I need money, sir. My family situation is difficult. This job pays well and I'm good at keeping secrets." "Secrets are valuable," Chen Wei said. "More valuable than money sometimes. Do you understand the importance of discretion?" "Yes, sir," Minjun said. "Good, because people who talk about our business don't last long in this world." It was another threat. Chen Wei was warning him. Minjun nodded seriously, playing his role. The unloading began. This time it took an hour because there were 80 packages instead of 40. Minjun helped carry box after box into the freezer. His muscles ached. His back hurt. But he kept working, memorizing every detail. Chen Wei supervised everything. He checked packages randomly. He consulted with Carlos about distribution schedules. He made phone calls in Mandarin, which Minjun understood but pretended not to. Chen Wei was coordinating deliveries across multiple cities. At midnight, the first distributor arrived. But tonight was different. Instead of 3 distributors, 6 came throughout the night. Each one took larger quantities. Each envelope contained more cash. Minjun watched and listened. His recording device captured every conversation. Chen Wei explained the expansion plans to Carlos. They were opening new distribution points in Idaho and Montana. They were increasing shipments by 50% over the next 3 months. They expected to double their profits by the end of the year. It was all on tape. Every word, every confession, everything they needed. At 1 in the morning, while everyone was busy with deliveries, Minjun did something bold. He retrieved his perfect burger combo from where he had stored it. The burger was still warm. The fries were still crispy. The shake was still cold. He sat at the counter and unwrapped the burger. Derek noticed and walked over, looking annoyed. "What are you doing?" "We're in the middle of work," Derek said. "I'm taking a quick break," Minjun said.
Is that okay?
"I guess," Derek muttered. "Just make it fast." Minjun took a bite of his burger. It was perfect. After weeks of practice, he had finally made the exact meal he wanted. The burger was juicy and flavorful. The pickles were crisp. The fries were golden. The shake was creamy. Derek watched him eat. "You're acting weird tonight." "I'm just enjoying a good burger," Minjun said. "You know, Derek, this is actually perfect. You should have made my order like this the first time I ordered from here." Derek's face showed confusion. "What are you talking about? You never ordered from here before you started working here." "Actually, I did," Minjun said calmly. He took another bite of his burger. 4 weeks ago, I ordered delivery. Everything was wrong. Cold fries. Wrong burger. Wrong shake. I called to complain and you were incredibly rude to me. You accused me of lying. You refused to help." Derek's confusion deepened. "I don't remember that." "I'm not surprised," Minjun said. "You're rude to a lot of customers. But that phone call changed everything, Derek. While you were being rude to me, your employees were talking in the background about shipments and counting packages. I heard everything, and I started investigating." Derek's face went pale. "What are you saying?" Minjun reached under his shirt and pulled out his recording device. He set it on the counter between them. "I'm saying that I'm not MJ Park. My name is Minjun Park. I'm a special agent with the FBI, and you're under arrest." For a moment, Derek just stared. His brain was trying to process what he just heard. Then understanding hit him. His eyes went wide. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. "FBI!" Minjun shouted loudly. "Everyone stay where you are!" The back door exploded open. Federal agents poured into the restaurant from every entrance. They wore tactical gear and carried weapons. Jiwoo led the team, moving fast and professional. "FBI!" Hands up, nobody move, agents shouted. Carlos tried to run toward the front door. 2 agents tackled him before he took 3 steps. Chen Wei reached into his jacket and 4 agents surrounded him with guns drawn. He slowly raised his hands. Marcus dropped the package he was holding and put his hands on his head. Tony just froze in place, too shocked to move. Derek stood in front of Min Jun, still processing what was happening. "You're FBI?" he whispered. "Yes," Min Jun said. He took another bite of his burger. "And this is the best burger I've ever eaten. Isn't that ironic? You got my order wrong, which led me to discover your drug operation, which led me to work here and learn how to make the perfect burger myself." "This is all because of a wrong order?" Derek said, his voice rising in disbelief. "Well, it's mostly because you're running a drug trafficking operation," Min Jun said. "But yes, I discovered it because of a wrong order and your terrible customer service. If you had just been nice to me on the phone, none of this would have happened." "And huge risk if anything goes wrong," Derek said. "So everyone needs to be extra careful tonight. No mistakes, no accidents, everything perfect." Min Jun felt his pulse quicken. This was the opportunity they needed. A massive shipment and possibly Chen Wei attending. If they could document everything and get Chen Wei on camera, the case would be perfect. He excused himself to use the bathroom and sent a quick coded text to Ji Woo. "Tonight is big. 80 packages. Main boss might attend." Ji Woo responded immediately. "Ready. Extra surveillance in place. Stay safe." At 10 o'clock, they closed the restaurant and sent the regular employees home. Luis left happily. Rachel waved goodbye to everyone. The restaurant became quiet. Min Jun did something he had been planning for weeks. Before the shipment arrived, he went into the kitchen and began making food. Derek noticed and walked over. "What are you doing?" Derek asked. "I'm hungry," Min Jun said. "I want to make dinner before the truck gets here. Is that okay?" Derek shrugged. "Make it fast. We have work soon." Min Jun prepared his meal with careful attention. He made a double cheeseburger with extra pickles, no onions, and light mayo. He cooked the patty perfectly. He toasted the bun just right. He added crisp lettuce and fresh tomatoes. Then he made large fries, golden and perfectly salted. Finally, he prepared a thick vanilla shake. It was the exact order he had tried to get delivered 4 weeks ago. The order that started everything. Now he was making it himself perfectly, in the kitchen of the restaurant that had gotten it wrong. Marcus walked by and saw the food. "That looks really good. You've gotten good at making burgers." "Thanks," Min Jun said. "I learned from watching you guys." He took a photo of the perfect meal with his phone. He sent it to Ji Woo with a message. "Objective achieved. Ready when you are." At 10:45, 2 vehicles arrived. The refrigerated truck pulled up as usual. But behind it came a black luxury sedan with tinted windows. Carlos got out of the sedan. Then another man emerged. Chen Wei was in his 50s, wearing an expensive suit and glasses. He looked like a successful businessman, not the head of a drug trafficking network. But Min Jun recognized him from FBI files. This was the man they had been trying to catch for 3 years. "This is Mr. Chen," Carlos introduced him to everyone. "He's here to oversee tonight's delivery personally." Chen Wei looked at each person carefully. When his eyes reached Min Jun, he paused. "I don't recognize you," Chen Wei said. His English was perfect with just a slight accent. "This is MJ, our newest team member," Carlos explained. "He's been working Wednesday nights for 3 weeks. Very reliable." Very quiet, Chen Wei studied Min Jun. "You're young. Why do you want to work in this business?" Min Jun had prepared for this question. "I need money, sir. My family situation is difficult. This job pays well and I'm good at keeping secrets." "Secrets are valuable," Chen Wei said. "More valuable than money sometimes. Do you understand the importance of discretion?" "Yes, sir," Min Jun said. "Good, because people who talk about our business don't last long in this world." It was another threat. Chen Wei was warning him. Min Jun nodded seriously, playing his role. The unloading began. This time it took an hour because there were 80 packages instead of 40. Min Jun helped carry box after box into the freezer. His muscles ached. His back hurt. But he kept working, memorizing every detail. Chen Wei supervised everything. He checked packages randomly. He consulted with Carlos about distribution schedules. He made phone calls in Mandarin, which Min Jun understood but pretended not to. Chen Wei was coordinating deliveries across multiple cities. At midnight, the first distributor arrived. But tonight was different. Instead of 3 distributors, 6 came throughout the night. Each one took larger quantities. Each envelope contained more cash. Min-jun watched and listened. His recording device captured every conversation. Chen Wei explained the expansion plans to Carlos. They were opening new distribution points in Idaho and Montana. They were increasing shipments by 50% over the next 3 months. They expected to double their profits by the end of the year. It was all on tape. Every word, every confession, everything they needed. At 1 in the morning, while everyone was busy with deliveries, Min-jun did something bold. He retrieved his perfect burger combo from where he had stored it. The burger was still warm. The fries were still crispy. The shake was still cold. He sat at the counter and unwrapped the burger. Derek noticed and walked over, looking annoyed. "What are you doing?" "We're in the middle of work," Derek said. "I'm taking a quick break," Min-jun said.
Is that okay?
"I guess," Derek muttered. "Just make it fast." Min-jun took a bite of his burger. It was perfect. After weeks of practice, he had finally made the exact meal he wanted. The burger was juicy and flavorful. The pickles were crisp. The fries were golden. The shake was creamy. Derek watched him eat. "You're acting weird tonight." "I'm just enjoying a good burger," Min-jun said. "You know, Derek, this is actually perfect. You should have made my order like this the first time I ordered from here." Derek's face showed confusion. "What are you talking about? You never ordered from here before you started working here." "Actually, I did," Min-jun said calmly. He took another bite of his burger. 4 weeks ago, I ordered delivery. Everything was wrong. Cold fries. Wrong burger. Wrong shake. I called to complain and you were incredibly rude to me. You accused me of lying. You refused to help." Derek's confusion deepened. "I don't remember that." "I'm not surprised," Min-jun said. "You're rude to a lot of customers. But that phone call changed everything, Derek. While you were being rude to me, your employees were talking in the background about shipments and counting packages. I heard everything, and I started investigating." Derek's face went pale. "What are you saying?" Min-jun reached under his shirt and pulled out his recording device. He set it on the counter between them. "I'm saying that I'm not MJ Park. My name is Min-jun Park. I'm a special agent with the FBI, and you're under arrest." For a moment, Derek just stared. His brain was trying to process what he just heard. Then understanding hit him. His eyes went wide. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. "FBI!" Min-jun shouted loudly. "Everyone stay where you are!" The back door exploded open. Federal agents poured into the restaurant from every entrance. They wore tactical gear and carried weapons. Jiwoo led the team, moving fast and professional. "FBI! Hands up, nobody move!" Agents shouted. Carlos tried to run toward the front door. 2 agents tackled him before he took 3 steps. Chen Wei reached into his jacket and 4 agents surrounded him with guns drawn. He slowly raised his hands. Marcus dropped the package he was holding and put his hands on his head. Tony just froze in place, too shocked to move. Derek stood in front of Min-jun, still processing what was happening. "You're FBI?" he whispered. "Yes," Min-jun said. He took another bite of his burger. "And this is the best burger I've ever eaten. Isn't that ironic? You got my order wrong, which led me to discover your drug operation, which led me to work here and learn how to make the perfect burger myself." "This is all because of a wrong order?" Derek said, his voice rising in disbelief. "Well, it's mostly because you're running a drug trafficking operation," Min-jun said. "But yes, I discovered it because of a wrong order and your terrible customer service. If you had just been nice to me on the phone, none of this would have happened."